Hello there, and welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about one of my most requested games and how I level it up throughout all of the grade levels. But first, before we get to the game, I do want to remark on some of my plans that I've been working on. And one of the items that really helps me out, I love paper planning. I know I showed you my digital planner, and you can look at that. I'll link it in the description and at the end. But this is for my to-do list. This is an Archer and Olive TN, and it just helps me stay organized. So today I'm actually going through some reminders about the fact that this week, second grade has a field trip on Friday. And it's game day for Monday and Tuesday students. So catching up from that, so that I can get my to-dos together. I also need to set up the rehearsal tracks for my choirs on their online platform. So there you have it. And I'll try and put a picture of what I was writing down. So let's get to the song. So the song is called Grizzly Bear, and the way I learned it goes like this. Grizzly bear, a grizzly bear is sleeping in a cave. Please be very quiet, very, very quiet. If you wake him, if you shake him, he gets very mad. During this game, the kids are going to be walking in a circle. This is what I do for kindergarten and first grade. They're going to be walking in a circle. And when we get to he gets very mad, there's one child in the middle who's going to open their eyes because they're the grizzly bear, and everybody on the circle is going to freeze. If the grizzly bear sees someone who is moving, they get to say their name and that they're out, and they go sit over to the side. I used to have them sit with the grizzly bear, and it became a problem. So they just sit out of the circle. I usually do this for one grizzly bear for 3 rounds. The third round is when I say, oh, can you pick the stillest statue? And that person becomes the next grizzly bear. I do keep track, because if you know anything about kindergarten and first grade, they are all about who gets a turn and when they get a turn. This is also a great game to teach how to stop and how to restart. I've noticed sometimes when you ask kids to stop and move and stop and move, that it can become a problem. They don't always know when to freeze or how to freeze. So it's a good game for that. Also a good game for knowing how to take turns. So the second step that I do with the kids with Grizzly Bear is once they've heard it enough, and trust me, they hear it enough, it starts to be, well, I'm not going to sing the song anymore. You guys sing the song. If you want to play the game, you have to sing it. So then they're singing it as a group. So they're starting to form some independence with the song. And then I segue it into independent singing, which is really my number 2. So the first step is to teach them the game. They're learning how to start and stop. They're learning how to follow directions. They're playing this simple circle game. Step 2 is after they can sing it as a group, they sing it independently. So I might pick the grizzly bear to sing it while the kids are walking around. Or I might have a kid step out, oh, you're gonna go back in a moment, but I'm gonna ask you to sing the song while everybody walks around the circle. It helps them hear good child vocal models. It lets me assess kids on where are they at vocally. So there's a lot of things that happen in that step. And again, this is the game that they request the most. Kindergarten through 5th grade. Yes, even my 5th graders. Number 3, and this part can be inserted really anywhere. If your kids aren't ready to independently sing the song yet, you can put this one a little bit farther just to engage the game a little bit more. And that's with movement exploration. And I kind of go with some different themes here. So today we were playing the game, and I did heavy and light. When you freeze, I asked the grizzly bear, when they freeze, do you want them to freeze as if they're holding something heavy or if they're holding something light? And then the kids actually came up with the second one for the second round of, should we freeze like we're hot or cold? So they're thinking about opposites. They're thinking about how their body would move. How do they tell that? And that adds to that art part of music that sometimes we miss. Like, let's be honest, I'm definitely more tuneful and beatful, and the art part tends to be forgotten when I get involved with the whirlwind of my day. So movement exploration is another great way. Sometimes I ask them to crawl around the circle. Sometimes I ask them to tiptoe around the circle or act like it's a balance beam. Just giving them ways to move their body in a different way to the music other than just walking, or giving them a way to freeze. Sometimes I'll use characters. Do you want to freeze like Mario or Sonic the Hedgehog? Do you want to freeze like a Minecraft zombie, or do you want to freeze like an Enderman? Just to give them different ways to think about it. And then last, and this is going to be the first, well, not really, not quite the first year. I did do this last year with my older grades. I would not let them play the game until they could figure out how to read it on the music staff. Now, this comes in various forms, okay? So one, the rhythm. So I might post the notation on the board because my 4th and 5th graders, they've gone through multiple units of rhythm, okay? This song is primarily paired 8th notes and quarter notes with some quarter rests. So if you're doing this with conversational solfege, you could pair this with Unit 6, which is where the quarter rest comes in. You could do it earlier on in Unit 1 and just pretend the rests aren't there. You just ignore them. You leave them blank. But I say, okay, I posted this rhythm pattern on the board. What song does it go with? Also, my 4th and 5th graders are getting better at pitches, including solfege and letter names. So I will say, oh, can you sight read this? Now, the pitches solfege-wise are a little bit different, but since I also teach them letter names to go along with recorder, a lot of them can figure it out from there, and they'll go, Or I'll say, here's where do is, figure out the song. If they can figure it out, then I let them play the game. And it's a great way, again, to assess where they're at, or to teach them a new rhythm, or to teach them a new pattern, or I can say, hey, in this song, find this pattern. All different ways to use a game that they request. I don't know why my 4th and 5th graders love this game as much as my kindergartners do, but it is the most requested game in my room. Just ask the teachers around me. They know every single time. What's a game that's requested in your room? Or what's an activity that the kids always are like, can we do that again? How can you level it up and readjust it so it can fit multiple parts of your lesson plan? I hope you have a wonderful week and find a little joy on the journey.